Hey, how's it going? So I'm really excited about this one because we got a great question that I really relate to and I think is very interesting. So since I'm so excited, let's just jump right in. The question comes from Andrew and he says, "Hey man, I came across your videos on breakups and self-esteem and it really resonated with me and made me think about the expectations that we and other people set on us and for our life. I feel like a common theme of going into adulthood is dealing with the expectations that have been put on us when we're very young. I, for example, was always a straight A student and consequently my family and many of the people around me always said, your son is going to do big things, or you're going to excel at whatever fancy job you get. This ended up in me going to a college that I didn't want to attend, studying something that I had only a passing interest in, just because I thought I was doing what was expected. Anyways, what do you think about expectations and finding what your dream really is in life? Keep up the great work, Andrew." So the first thing I want to say is that I'm pretty much the exact same way. High school and like the first 2 years of college were pretty much a breeze for me. I could pretty much pass every class without even having to really try. I would just pay attention in class and that would be really about it. And I think that actually led to a sort of procrastination problem. I remember one of my teachers telling my mom that if I didn't ace every test, I would be failing the class because I never did the homework. And I'm going to use that story to transition in one of the coolest concepts I've ever heard. And that's from Dr. K from Healthy Gamer GG. He basically talked about how you having a bunch of potential is actually a burden to you. Really, your life is like a house and your potential in life is the blueprint to that house. Yes, it is nice that you have the potential to build a mansion, but that just means that the blueprint for your life is bigger. You have all this potential, but you got to put the work in of building a mansion rather than just building a shack. So that's what I like to call the burden of potential. Yes, you can build a mansion, but remember, you got to build a mansion. And I also did the same thing of going to a college that was just close to me because that's what I was supposed to do and it was close to me. It's just funny how our lives are set up from the very beginning to be handheld through, and then all of a sudden you get to college and they're like, nah bro, this is real life. What do you mean you ain't ready? What do you mean you don't know what a real work ethic is? What do you mean you haven't researched 50 different majors? You know how I chose my major when I was in college? I seen computer science and I was like, well, I like science, I like computers, and they make a lot of money, so I guess that's the one for me. The idea of do good in school, go to college, finish college, and then you're going to have a job and you're going to make money and your life's going to be set is pushed very hard. So much so that it almost feels wrong that someone without a degree can make more than someone with a degree. It feels like that just shouldn't happen in the system that we've been promoting and pushing up. But it does happen, and that just shows how flawed the idea is in general. You got people pushing their own ideals and expectations onto you of what they want out of a life, or what path they think you should go down. And funny enough, this actually does harm you in many more ways than the surface level ones like that. While they may be trying to sound nice and saying that you're smart or whatever, they've actually implanted the idea that you pretty much have to be better than everyone else, that you have to be on top, because those external people have implanted the idea that you are expected to do something great. They're saying, oh, he's smart, he can ace some tests, so he has to go to college, and he will go to college and fulfill out a great college destiny. And that might be all fine and dandy, but what happens when you go out and say you want to work at a gas station instead? Or maybe you have the secret desire to want to run a restaurant maybe. Or, and this is the craziest one yet, pursue some kind of non-traditional dream or some kind of non-traditional work route. Well, I'll tell you what happens when you start walking down that path. A nuclear meltdown in the minds of the people around you, basically. Perhaps it's possible that you don't value materialistic items as much as the next person, and so really all you want out of life is a $60,000 a year lifestyle or something like that. Well, everyone else cares so much about money, status, and those materialistic things that when they see you putting on that personality of, oh, I don't care about money, or I'm going to choose this lifestyle over the next, they're going to look at you crazy because the idea is unfathomable to them that money and status can't be their top priority. They want to achieve all this stuff and then get all this money so that they can acquire the status of happy. Meanwhile, Joe Buck down the road doesn't have 2 pennies to scrape together and he's happy. Why is that? That's because you don't have to do something to be happy. If you're happy, you are just happy. I very much urge you to choose what you put your time into by the value basis. And money can be part of that, but you need to look at the other values of what you're putting your time into. I would be so much happier in a job and putting effort into something that can help other people and pay me a livable wage rather than just pay me 6 times that livable wage and then I get nothing else out of it. It's very important that you live life the way that you want to live it. It is not possible for other people to tell you the value of your life. People cannot tell you what path to go down because it is not their life. It is not their life. And it's crazy because they'll actually act like it is their problem. They're so invested in the system that when they see you go down a different route, it does not compute in their head. Like crabs in a bucket, they just got to pull you back on the path, man. They can't see you going out on a different path because that brings up insecurities in their own brains as well. No, I can't see that guy go pursue something like that, because then it brings up the insecurity of, well, I didn't pursue the thing that I wanted to pursue when I had the opportunity. That's going to be their secret underlying message that they don't want to actually tell you because it's too embarrassing, but it is happening. It's so funny when you break out of normal traditions and you try and go down your own path and open something up or whatever, because they're going to look at you like you're crazy. They just told you that you were going to go do big things and excel at whatever fancy job or whatever, but you going down and following your own dreams, no, that's not realistic. Even though they gave you all these big compliments about what you can do, now all of a sudden when you want to go down this path, you can't do that. What's really funny is all this craziness and the backhanded stuff is going to keep going until you have some kind of proof of outcome. And boy, everything changes up when that happens. When they see the fruits of your labor, when they see an actual outcome that exceeds expectations, then it's all just congratulations and I knew you could do it and wow, look at that, that's so cool. Meanwhile, before you started pursuing the thing or going down the path that you want to, it was all negativity. So overall, when you're choosing that path you want to go down, when you're choosing if you want to follow a dream or go down some road that is less traveled, you just got to block out all the noise from people that are not important. It is not their life, it is your life. People are never going to know all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes to get you down that path. And honestly, they're not going to care about the work you put in. The only thing they're going to care about is the outcome, which is a funny thing on its own because you could literally make like $10 million tomorrow. I don't actually know how you're going to do that, but it's possible. You can make a huge amount of money very fast. And then what's funny is when you acquire that success or whatever, all that stuff in the past isn't going to matter anymore. All of a sudden, you were the correct one. Imagine that. All these people are laughing at you for making $50,000 a year while they're making $100,000 a year, and then one year you make $10 million, and then you've eclipsed all that they've accomplished already in just that short amount of time. All because you chose to go down a road that they didn't see was fit. You're so much more likely to be successful at anything in life if you were doing it for the right reasons. If you have a great work ethic and you're a good person and you're putting your heart into whatever, people are going to notice that. The true secret to success is not what you pursue, but how hard you pursue the thing that you are pursuing. A person who is good at their work and is putting in full-fledged effort is going to go much farther in a low-tier position than someone is in a high-tier position with no work ethic and no good work. So make sure you're going down the path that you want to go down, not the one that's being pushed on you or the one that you think everyone else wants you to go down. You know, a way that I think is like really fun to live life is sort of setting yourself up so that you're leveling up slowly over time. Like, oh, I had a pretty good job, and then I had a pretty good job, and now I got a great job, and now I want to find an amazing job, right? And those changes could be like every 2, 5, or 10 years or something like that. So let's say you have like a 24-year plan, right? And you're going to level up every 6 years or something like that. You know what's crazy? When you hit that last level up and you finally like get into the point where you want to, you know what people are going to say? They're going to have the audacity to say, oh, he turned his life around at the end. Isn't that crazy? You could have chose to chill for 5 years. You could have chose to put yourself in a more humble position to learn about life or whatnot, and they're going to tell you that you really changed your life around. Meanwhile, it could have been your plan to get to this point the whole time, but you changed your life around because you weren't meeting their expectations before, and now you are. It's so crazy that those things can be said from someone about someone else's life. Speaking of other people's lives, I saw this guy on the internet who had all the skills of being an esports player, right? Basically, he had the potential to be an esports player and a professional video game player and like a Twitch streamer or whatever, and he didn't pursue that. Why? Because that's not what he wanted out of life. And to me, that's crazy because that's what I would like to do, but I'm just not good enough. But if I had his skill set, I would love to do that. So why does he not want to do that? And what I'm doing is like pushing my own ideals onto him because he has the skill set, but he doesn't want to pursue esports, so that's okay. And very much like you have the ability to pursue that college degree or whatever, but what if you don't want to do that? So I think that's kind of all I have to say. As for a little wrap up, man, just don't listen to anyone else. It is your life. You set the expectations for your life. If you have some kind of grandiose plan, these people are not going to see your plan all the way through. They're not going to have your internal thoughts and all this stuff that you know you can set up. If you want to be a gas station attendant, if you want to own a restaurant, if you want to work at a casino for the rest of your life, or you want to be a singer or a YouTuber or a guitar player, I implore you to do that. You set the expectations for your life, and when you set them where you want them, you can achieve them. And then when you achieve them, you have that level of happiness. The beauty of it is you can set that expectation as low as possible, and that's okay. A great humble life is a great life. A great braggadocious rich life is also a great life, provided that's what you want. So yeah, hey, if you enjoyed the video, don't be scared to throw a like and subscribe on the video. I plan on doing a bunch of more thought-provoking content like this, and also down below is a form if you'd like to fill out like Andrew did here, and we can bring up a topic for another video later on. I hope you all enjoyed and got something out of it.